Jermaine Dupri. Okay, let's get into it. So JD, you have a long and storied career in this industry. Some people may not know that you got your start as a dancer for the hip-hop group Houdini, and you performed right here in New York at the New York Fresh Festival with Run DMC, Houdini, and Grandmaster Flash. Did y'all know that? Yeah. Okay, all right. Excuse me. Can you talk about the influence your dance career had on your decision to become a songwriter, producer, and how it set you on the path to becoming who you are today?
I think the dancing, it really just like introduced me to all forms of the craft or the culture. So you know, if you're a hip hop dancer, you gotta meet a DJ. I was performing with the rappers already, so it was like, you know, it just kind of like introduced me to all paths of everything in the culture. So I actually learned everything. I learned how to DJ from Jam Master Jay, rest in peace. Being around these rappers all the time, it created my appetite. And I also started going around producers because something about the producers at that time was intriguing. So it was like Larry Smith, Rick Rubin, Fresh Gordon, and then Herbie Love was like the guy that I was like, oh, okay, he has a stable of artists and he's writing all the music and he's doing this. And I was like, I could do that, but I never did it before, but I was like, I could do it some kind of way. And it just was like, you know, it was just me being around it. And I think that's what it did. It allowed me to put me into places, right? As a dancer, you go to every club, you go to every little disco or whatever's happening, talent shows, you just act everything. And you just create this appetite.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So you have a successful track record of identifying and developing talent, and you founded your own record label, So Definitely, which by the way celebrated its 30th anniversary last year. Let's give it up. So Def is home to artists like Escape, Crisscross, The Brat, Bow Wow, Jagged Edge, and Anthony Hamilton. What do you look for when it comes to identifying artists you want to work with and develop? And also, what are your thoughts on the state of artist development today?
Hey, let people say what y'all feel about artist development. Well, there's no artist development today. And what I look for artists that are hungry, and that show me that hunger without telling me they hungry. Because you know, I meet people every time I go outside and tell me I got a tape, my rap. Cool. But I could watch you walk away from me and I don't see, it's a hunger that I can tell, I can see that's different. And a lot of times these artists that I like, they're not really persistent as far as trying to get my attention. They show me something, whether it is from a distance without even knowing that they're showing it to me, and then it's my job to go to them. Very rarely, you know, with Anthony Hamilton, it was like he was singing here in New York at the Grammy brunch or something like that, and my dad was at the brunch, and he was like, "This guy, you should hear this guy sing." And I was like, "What?" You know, I was in my office here in Arizona, and I was like, "I hear guys sing every day. What are you talking about?" He was like, "No, you should really hear this dude sing." And he played me something over the phone. I'm like, "Where is he writing?" He's like, "Yeah." So he came, and it was like, that's like a weird. It's not even like a, you know what I mean? It wasn't like something I was actually like chasing. It just happened, and it was like you see it, or somebody tells you, and you check it out. Same thing with the Brat. Crisscross told me about the Brat. I never really was like into female rappers, and he was like, "Yo, you should check her out. And I'm like, no, I don't want a female rapper. They was like, you should check her out. And I'm like, no. And after that, we did this over and over again. I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna check out. And I checked out, and she could have reached out to me. She could have been like trying to get my number and all of this things, but she wasn't, that wasn't the page that she was on. She was just determined to perform in front of people, and if you saw the talent at that particular point in time, then that's what happened. And once I checked her out, that's what it was. I brought her to Atlanta, and she was performing in my car when I wasn't even in there. So she wasn't doing it for me, she was just doing it on her own. And you leave somebody in your car and you go away, and you come out there and they're rapping to themselves. You're like, what was going on? Like, what were you doing this for? Right? And they're doing it at a not writing level, they're doing it at a performance level. And it's just like, that hunger was like, oh, I'm gonna make your record because you're really ready, right? So it's just that type of thing.
So now I want to dig into your creative process a little bit, but before we do, let's listen to a song. So there's an interesting story behind Confessions, y'all. When it comes to your creative process, right, JD, there's a story behind this. I read in an interview that Confessions Part 2, which by the way was named the greatest R&B song of the 21st century by Rolling Stone. So I read that it took you about an hour to write, and that you didn't actually write down the lyrics to that song.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
When I did Money in a Thing with Jay-Z, he came to my house and I played him the beat, and I never saw him write the lyrics. And I'm like, what's happening right now? And I never saw nobody even do this before, so it was like, I actually thought we was getting ready to have a bad session. Because I'm like, oh damn, he don't like the beat, he not even trying to, he didn't even ask me for a pad or nothing. So I'm like, this is not going to end well. And then next thing he said, let's go. And I'm like, go where? Show me to the booth. And he went in the booth and he had his verse. And I was just like, what? And when he did that, and when you say it, it seems like the most incredible talent that one person could possibly have. But I had to study how it's not one of the most incredible talents that one person can have. It's just about the liking that we have inside of us. And we do this with other songs that we don't even see the lyrics of, right? So you know somebody else's song because you've been heard it on the radio a bunch of times, you've never seen a lyric sheet. You probably be in the car, you know all the lyrics. Some of y'all don't, but some of you know. And once you start remembering that, I mean, once I started studying, because he didn't tell me this, I just figured it out. But I had also done it before. When I wrote the Crisscross records, my mindset was if I make music that they like, they're gonna perform it at a high level, right? So I had already done the exercise, but I never realized that I had did it before. So when I saw him do it, I said, okay. And at first I felt like this was gonna be the hardest thing in the world. But then I started saying, if I write something that I like, I'm not gonna forget it.
Right.
Right? So that's the key to it. If you write something that you like, you're not gonna forget it. If you say something that you like, you're not gonna forget it, right? That's just life. Everybody does this. If you keep saying it over and over again, you're never gonna forget it. And with Confession, I caught writer's block. So I'm sitting in the studio and I'm like, I'm getting ready to leave. And I got in the car, I took the music and I got in the car and I was driving in the car. And as I was listening to the music, I just started saying words. And I was just singing melodies and doing things. And then I just started looking at places in LA, and I just started using those pieces to make a verse. Now, I didn't know if people was gonna like it or if Usher was gonna like it or not either. But this is what was happening. And then I was like, I should, and I said this to myself, I said, maybe I should do like Kaiser Soze. Anybody familiar with Kaiser Soze? All right, so I was saying like, let me try to write a song like Kaiser Soze. Everything I see, I'm gonna put it in the song. So that's why the line starts off. Every time I was in LA, I was with my ex-girlfriend because I was in LA. And then I was driving down Beverly or 3rd or one of them streets, and you stop at the light, and I was hand in hand in the Beverly Center, like, damn. And I'm just taking these words and putting it into, and I'm continuing the story. I'm just writing, and I'm actually doing this not even thinking that, like I said, it's not even feeling like a song. It just feels like I'm just in the car doing something. But I couldn't forget it, so I just kept saying. So the next day, I'm like, I'm gonna go to the studio. I'm gonna say this, Usher don't like it, so what? But I like it, and I'm saying what I'm saying. So I just kept doing it, and that's how it came out.
Amazing. You have written and produced countless #1 songs throughout the course of your career. I mentioned in my intro that one of them was named Song of the Decade by Billboard. Let's play a little bit of that song. There's an interesting story behind you writing and producing that song. You encouraged Mariah to add something to take it to the next level. Can you talk more about that and also give us your thoughts on what makes a good producer?
Yeah, this was like the difficult things I had to go through as a producer and songwriter, because it's like you have to. I feel like I'm the producer that has to keep it real with the artist at some point to get to where I want to go. And previously, Mariah was doing this airy singing, and I was like, you know, and I get it. I understand that artists don't want to continue to keep doing the same thing over and over again. I get that. But for this song, I just was like, listen, you gotta hit the note. Like, you know, if the song is great, but you gotta end the song with a Mariah Carey ending to take it over the top. And it's crazy because we finished the song and she didn't have that in there, and LA was like, it don't seem done yet. And I'm like, what? And it was just that piece, like that's one piece. And when he told me that, that was my confirmation to be like, I told you, you gotta hit this note. And this, by the way, is Mariah Carey. Every time I'm gonna hit a note means nothing, but she gets out of that mode sometimes and just wanna be a rapper or whatever. So I mean that was one of the things, and I always was scared to write for Mariah because she's one of the greatest songwriters in the world, right? So I'm like, you don't really need me to write the song. I can make music, but you don't actually need me to write a song. So we argued about me writing a part of this song, and we was all tired. It was like 7 a.m. in the morning. She was about to leave to come back here to me up. And this one little piece of the song was not finished. And I guess she was having writer's block, but maybe she was just like stalling me out to make me write it. And she was just sitting there and we was going back. She was like, write it. I'm like, no. I'm not doing it. Because I don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, you fucked up Mariah's song. So I just started saying, I mean, this is how I write. I just write. And whatever's happening, I just start saying things in the studio. I don't believe that people are gonna use it, never, right? I just think that this just sounds good to me at the time, right? So the beat is playing, she's looking at me, I'm saying I'm not gonna do this. And then I just start saying, it's going on, no element, coming, bang, trying to figure out where the hell I'm with. I start saying it, and she's like, that's it. And I'm like, no, that's not it. Because I'm like, because she don't sing like that. That's more of a Usher flow, right? And so I'm like, no, because that sounds like Usher would do it. And she was like, yeah, that's it. Let's do that. And I'm like, okay, but are you gonna do this? And she's like, I'm gonna do it just like you. And I'm like, no, right? And she left and the park was still open, but she made me go do the demo. And if y'all know me and Mariah's relationship, can I get your number? I'm singing the hook on Can I Get Your Number because she didn't want to take me off and she didn't want to do it. So I'm like, please don't fuck this song up and leave me in that part or something. Like, no, man, that's gonna seem crazy, right? So I kept thinking that that's what she was gonna do. And sure enough, she stuck to it and she did the note. And she took my part and put it in the song, and the rest is history.
As someone well respected in the industry, what business skill sets have you had to acquire to ensure the success of the records you write and produce? For example, a lot of talent stays solely in the creative space, but may not know enough about the business of music, or may not want to get involved in the business of music. So can you talk about the importance of truly understanding the business side of things as well?
Well, I have a motto with myself. I'm not in the music business. I'm in the record business. I make records. That's it. People that's in the music business, they copy what other people in the music business is doing, and they don't end up making records. That's why the music business is downsizing, because there's not enough records being made. It's too many employees doing nothing. And to me, that's what I try to tell writers, because my life is interesting as a writer because I started so young. Like when I made Chris Cross album, I was 17 years old, right? And at 17 in Atlanta, I didn't know nobody. I didn't know no engineers. I wouldn't sign the ASCAP, or maybe I was. Yeah, right. I was, because I put out Silk Times Little prior. So I was, but I still was like a kid that nobody was like, I didn't have conversation with people, let me just say that. I had no conversation with people. So I was just stuck in my house in Atlanta. And I started writing songs because if I make a beat, I ain't have no writers. There wasn't no writer, I didn't know nobody call like, let me call you over and come and write a song. You don't have that, so you just sit there and you start writing songs. And you get into the space of just like songwriting. And like, I think everybody in here is a songwriter, right? I feel like if you get in that space and you write songs and this is what you really do, it's important that you stick to that, right? And you stick to writing songs and continue to write songs and always continue to keep writing songs. And that's my advice to somebody is that, well, second part of my advice. The second part of my advice is that in music, me personally, I don't understand why people always believe that the fans want to hear you do something different, right? If you go to a restaurant that you love and you've been going there for 5 years, 6 years, and they change the chef, what you gonna do? You're gonna leave. That's how music is. Artists blow up, they have 10, 30, how many albums they have, and then all of a sudden they want to change their sound. They want to do something different. I get it, I understand. But it's the same as food, right? To me, McDonald's, they tried to copy their whole menu so that you would never leave their place and you would come back there all the time. I'm vegan, I don't know why I'm talking about McDonald's, but you get my drift. It's to me, people don't pay attention to the actual art of making music and the actual art of writing songs. It's definitely an art to it, right? It's definitely a find a hook that people can sing, find a nice melody for the verse, put different type of sounds in the song that catch people's ear. These are things that you should say when you're in the studio writing a song, or you write a song, period. Because and once you catch, it's not to duplicate what you did, but it's to remember how you got to that place and try to do something that resembles you getting to the place of that other hit record. And that's my advice for you guys.
This is an off-the-cuff question. Talk about why ASCAP has been important in your career.
Because you guys take care of me. No. You have to have, like I said, I was a kid, I started off in here, so to have people that actually feel like your family, that actually talk to you, that actually invite you to things like this, and give you opportunity to meet other writers and be around people. Like I said, I was one that didn't get an opportunity to do that, right? So, if you get an opportunity to do these things and meet people, you should feel very, very privileged because, people think I just woke up one morning and here I am. It was not. It was very much like just me over in the room by myself. And I didn't know who to call. I don't know what, you know what I mean? You don't know nothing. But as you meet people and you go to things, right, and you start realizing like, oh, I'm signed to ASCAP. Maybe I should go to this. Because you're young, you don't want to go to nothing that feel like it's some corporate shit. You like, but you should go so you can see what's going on and you just learn. You know what I mean? It's not something that, like I said, if you're in this and you're in the record business and you are married to it, you should definitely go. And that's what ASCAP has done to me over the years. It's just allowed me to see as well as put this battery in my back, right? That I won Songwriter of the Year so many times, but I haven't beat Jimmy and Terry yet, right? So this year, God willing, I'm going to get them guys. But like I said, if I wasn't coming to these ASCAP events, I wouldn't even know that Jimmy and Terry, I know how great they are, but you hear people talk and you get to see them play and you get to understand exactly like what you up against, right? And it makes you really say, oh, I gotta go home and get my shit together. Because these guys, they really good. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? And then like, they took me to this thing in DC I'd never been. What was it? Congress of...
We write the song.
Yeah. You just get opportunities. I have had opportunities that I probably would have never gotten. And she's an incredible boss.
All right. So with more than 30 years in this music industry, you are continuing to produce Billboard charting hits like Ari Lennox's Pressure, Division's If I Get Caught, and this next song. So that was Mo Long's Made For Me, which is dominating on social media right now, dominating. You've witnessed the music industry's evolution, shifting from physical to digital consumption. How have you managed to remain relevant while staying authentic?
Like I said, I won't change what I started doing once I realized that you liked it, you know? Mm-hmm. It's just like Valentine's Day, like, you know, if you show up without roses,
no.
It's the same thing. You put that same mentality into music, you know? Like, if you take this song, the Money Long record, I was watching TikTok in the studio. This is a true story. I was in the studio looking at TikTok on my phone. And I saw this Yeet Mariah Carey mashup. And I saw it one time. I saw it again. And I started seeing it multiple times. I'm like, oh, this is a thing. And I saw these young kids, nobody older than 20 maybe, dancing like this was the newest song they ever heard in their life. And I was like, you know what's interesting to me is that people in the music industry or the music business, they believe that, or they tell you that young kids want the new shit. I don't believe that. I think young kids want whatever sounds good. So I'm looking at this and I realized that at first I thought they tracked my Mariah beat out. I was like, oh, maybe they. Now I listened again. I'm like, this is the same drums I use. It's the same beat. They just took Mariah off and put Eat on here. Like, it's nothing different. And these kids are acting like this is the freshest shit they ever heard in their life. Now I didn't know that Money Long was gonna call me right after this, but this was actually my practice of what was happening. And then I get a call from Money Long saying, we're gonna put out the single that we did. And I said, well, wait, let me do something to the beat. Cause I did the song in LA, but it didn't bounce the way y'all hear it now. And me watching TikTok and seeing the way the kids was dancing to the Mariah record, I said, oh, so if I take my bounce that's in the Mariah record and I put it in this Money Long record, the same thing should possibly happen. And here we go.
All right, I have a trillion more questions, but I just looked up at the time and I want to give the audience some time to ask them questions. So I'm going to pause and open it up for questions from the audience. I can't really see.
Yes,
Passing
I'll
around
take
the
my
mic. Yeah. I think I see. Is there someone passing around the mic? We have a question here.
Oh, shit. Oh, I didn't even know those people up there. I can't even see them. What's up?
What's good, my beautiful people? Make some noise for y'all being in the building tonight. What's up? Every face got with 2 hands. Make some noise! That's what's up. Thank you. So, my question is kind of spontaneous on the spot. I didn't expect to get the mic. But, JD, my question is, it's amazing to hear how that situation with the Money Long track went. Can you tell me a little bit about your production history? Like, what really made you get into producing? And all these years that you spent in the record industry as a producer, what's the biggest takeaway that you think you have as a producer?
Last question, what's the biggest takeaway you have as a producer? You spent 30 years in this industry. What's the biggest takeaway?
The big